Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fine Leg to Fine Leg podcast. We're here with episode number 6, and today we're going through the top 10 matches of the World Cup 2019 from last summer. I think we're missing the World Cup quite a lot, or from last year, especially with it being
missing cricket quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, but especially with the World Cup being replayed on the radio at the moment. Was listening to England-Bangladesh this morning. All of Jason Roy endangering the ducks on the River Taff. So we'll be going through our top 10 matches, or the most exciting games, I think, is what we're going through. So if we start off with number 10, Finn, we decided to go for...
So we've gone for India versus Pakistan. It wasn't the most thrilling cricket game. I mean, you did have Sharma hit 140, which was good, but just the atmosphere there was great. Even if you weren't there just watching, it was really good fun. I really enjoyed seeing a contest, which petered out towards the end a bit, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the game had quite a few different ebbs and flows. I think when Sharma could have been run out, I think he was on about 20 odd.
Yeah.
Pakistani's fielding, which has always been their really weak spot, really coming under the spotlight there. And also when Pakistan were batting really well, Babar and might have been Imam ul Haq in 160 odd for 2, and then Kuldeep Yadav bowls Babar Azam through the gate. Really some fantastic flash points in that game.
Yeah, it was really good.
And it's a shame that it had to be decided on rain, the DRS or the DLS, because of the rain. But I still think it was a good game of cricket, and I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, number 9.
Number 9, we've gone for Australia against Bangladesh. If you'd like to explain why.
Oh, it was an absolutely class match, 700 plus runs. Probably one of the highest scoring in the whole World Cup. I mean, you had Warner's amazing innings, no matter how much dislike him. But then Bangladesh, they fought back really well. I think you had 70 odd from Al Hassan, and Mushafika scored quite a few as well. So yeah, it was a really good game.
Yeah, it was a top game of cricket. 166 for David Warner. I think that was the top scorer of the World Cup. When both sides are scoring well over 300, I think Australia managed 375. Bangladesh just fell short with 330 odd. It was a really, really well fought game of cricket.
Yeah, quality match.
Yeah. So number 8, we've gone for.
We have gone for Bangladesh again, but versus South Africa, where they actually clinched one at the end, really. It was a really good game. To be honest, for a large part of it looked like South Africa were going to win. They had a good start to their innings, but then, just wickets tumbled, especially against the spin, and it ended up being a really close game.
Yeah, I think the thing about South Africa is once you got past their top 6, Markram, Amla, de Kock, Rassie van der Dussen, Duminy and Faf du Plessis, the frailties in the South Africa's batting order really showed towards the tail, and they just missed out.
Amla was out during that game from the concussion from Archer.
Oh yeah, so I can't remember who David Miller they brought in.
Yeah.
And I think once you get past that top 6, South Africa's real frailties start to come forward. You know, I wouldn't back Kwekle Kayu, Ngidi, Tahir or Rabada to, score a 50 or 100 and sort of take me through to the end of the game.
Yeah, they're just sloggers, really.
Yeah, exactly. So number 7, we've chosen the England versus Australia semi-final. I think this was just because it's probably the best bowling attack performance there's been in a World Cup against such a top class batting side. Maybe the number 3 game that we've got, you could argue, was a better bowling performance, which we'll get onto later. But this was just pure domination from having 3 slips at Edgbaston for Woakes bowling the first ball at Warner, and then he crashes the ball through the covers. And then the next the next 5 balls of the over are bang on the money. Really set the tone for what was a very one-sided but a very dominant, very
entertaining.
Yeah, semi-final. I think when the Raw when Warner was out, you could see how pumped up Wokes was, how pumped up Bairstow was when he took the catch.
Oh, it was amazing. But I really enjoyed Roy's innings, just dominating the Australian bowlers, especially Mitchell Starc.
Yeah, and Steve Smith, 22 off Steve Smith's over, including a 6 that hit Michael Slater's commentary box window.
In the commentary box.
Yeah, it was. I was at yours for that game, and it was a fantastic game of cricket. I think we've already talked about that on another podcast, but I really enjoyed that game.
Loved it.
So number 6, we've gone for
us versus Pakistan. Unfortunately, we fell short in this game, but it was a fantastic watch. Actually, to listen to it on the radio during a cricket session, but it was unbelievable. I mean, hundreds from Root and Buttler, but to still come short just shows the strength of the Pakistan bowling attack there. But also, they hit a really good score.
Yeah, if England had chased it down, it would have been the highest chase ever in World Cup history. I think England fell 14 runs short, but I think that game as a whole, it had, again, lots of turning points. Pakistan were very aggressive in their first power play, really taking Wokes and Archer on. And then I think Roy dropping, can't remember who Roy dropped, maybe might have been Sarfraz when he was on 2, and then he went on to make a really explosive 80 odd, which was really frustrating as England fans. You know, he had Wokes' diving catch.
Wokes took some good catches that game.
Yeah, Wokes took a really good caught and bowled. I think he took 3 wickets as well. But then there was the chase, you know, with Buttler and Root, that partnership, because England were in trouble. That partnership really brought the game alive. And
one of the few times our openers just really didn't go well.
Yeah, I think the first time, I think every time Roy has scored 50 in the game, England have won the game. Considering the games we lost, Pakistan, we obviously lost that game. He was out very cheaply, and then the World Cup final was a tie when he was out for 17. So yeah, Roy scored a 50 in every single other innings, and we won every other game with Roy there.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
So yeah, just fell short. So number 5, we've chosen South Africa against New Zealand. That was a game that came down to the final 4 deliveries. It was a weird 49 over game because they had rain. I think it was. I might have been Graham Swan who said on Test Match Special, if it's 49 overs, surely that's just stupid. Just make it a 50 over game. Yeah. South Africa posted quite a subpar score, I think. They posted 242 from their 49 overs. But I think that was a fantastic game because Kane Williamson carried New Zealand through all of that, backed up by a big 50 from Colin de Grandhomme. Yeah, your favourite. You're definitely
love that.
Yeah. So backed up with a 50 at the end from Colin de Grandhomme, and it was Kane Williamson's cool head that spotted a Pwekli Kayu slower ball and planted him in the Holly standard Edgbaston.
Yeah, really, really good game. I mean, obviously the tight ones are the best, but then love the sort of a proper captain's innings from Kane Williamson, really going deep and showing sort of what he's made of.
Well, what that reminded me of was the New Zealand-Australia World Cup group stage game. Well, what were New Zealand chasing? They were chasing 109 or something, because Trent Boult took 5 wickets for 3 runs in his second spell, which was pretty ridiculous. He just absolutely ripped through the tail, and then Mitchell Starc did exactly the same thing. And then Kane Williamson was the only New Zealand batsman that could have done anything at the other end, and he again got the slog sweep out for 6 to win in the game.
Yeah, that's another class game.
Yeah. So number 4, what have we gone for?
We've gone again for an English loss, this time against Sri Lanka. with Mark Wood getting out, leaving Stokes stranded. Really class innings from Stokes. I think he got 82 not out. But I think it was Malinga that just did the best. It was actually some of the older players, Malinga and Angelo Matthews, scoring the runs.
And De Silva behind the stumps as well.
Oh, of course,
he had a fantastic game. He got Wokes out behind the stumps. He got Rashid out behind the stumps. He caught Root down the leg side when Root was on 50. Root scored a 50 that game, but then was caught down the leg side on Sri Lanka's review by De Silva. So, yeah, I think quite a poor performance. Again, England's openers really struggled. Vince caught for 14. Bairstow gone first ball. That was where we thought with 3 games to go, needing 2 wins against India, New Zealand, and Australia. I think that's where we thought the dream was over.
Yeah,
for the World Cup.
I'd agree with that. It's a hard loss to bear, but made the overall win a bit better.
Yeah, I think so. So for our third place game, we've gone for the semi-final between New Zealand and India. I mentioned earlier how this was a battle for the best bowling attack performance. I think you cannot argue that New Zealand's bowling attack here was unbelievable. To head out and defend 239 against India in a World Cup semi-final is ridiculously good.
Yeah, it was amazing. Maybe helped by the rain taking it to a second day. I'd say probably helped them, maybe disrupted India's mindset a little bit. But no, I think it was an unbelievable bowling performance, especially in those middle overs.
Yeah, I think the counter argument to what you said, though, is it was so gloomy at the first day that it was a perfect batting conditions on the second day, which you would think would favour India more, considering they've never not chased down a score under 260 in ODIs since the last World Cup.
Wow.
Until that game.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I mean, credit's got to go to the bowlers there, but then Kane Williamson captained that game really well.
Yeah, so I think we didn't mention in England Sri Lanka, the win predictor had Sri Lanka at 3% of their start of their innings. This one had New Zealand, I think, like something similar, like 3 or 4% at the start of their innings. And then, of course, Henry got Sharma, Bolt got Kohli, and then KL Rahul as well gone, leaving India 5 for 3, which is the first time ever the first 3 in ODI cricket have ever been dismissed for 1. All 3 of them.
Wow.
So, I think
today.
Yeah, really on top of the stats today. But I think to defend 239 against India and do it by 18 runs is really ridiculously good.
Oh, it was really impressive. So for our second place game, we've got New Zealand versus the West Indies. I think it was just an unbelievable game. How tight it got. Carlos Brathwaite just came so close there. Nearly took it home like he did in the seemingly unwinnable T20 World Cup all those years ago. But I think it was just good, really good bowling there at the death. Well, obviously not before he hit all those sixes, but to get him out, it was really impressive, especially when he was in such good form.
I think when we had a first over, which had 2 wickets, West Indies using their review on Martin Guptill, who the last time he faced the West Indies hit 237 not out. When we had 2 wickets, or a very near run out when they tried to run 3, and then a run 4 off 1 ball. They ran all 4. I think we knew we were in for a cracking game.
Stats are flying around.
So for the number 1 spot, we've decided to go for the World Cup final. Is the best game of the 2019 Cricket World Cup. I think the best one-day international game of all time. There will never be another game like it. I think when England were saying that England-Sri Lanka game from 2016, when Plunkett hit 6 off the last ball to tie as the greatest ODI ever, I think this one is even better. You know, only 8 out of 4,000 ODI games have ended in a tie, and one of them to be the World Cup final and to have such twists and turns on the way, from the ball hitting the bat, 15 off 4 needed, and Stokes hoiking it into the stand where the Barmy Army were that day. You know, it all culminated to needing 2 off the final ball of the Super Over. One piece of fielding, one dive from Martin Guptill, and one bit of work from Josh Buttler. It really, you know, that 15 seconds will be replayed over and over and over again for years to come.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, you can see the pressure getting to Roy. He'd fumbled one earlier before, threw one to the wrong end, I think. It's really getting the pressure to him. Then when it really mattered, managed to get a brilliant throw in. And yeah, I was at the ground that day, just an unbelievable atmosphere, especially for Lords, the Barmy Army in full swing. It was just such a good game to watch. I mean, Liam Plunkett going really well. That was unbelievable.
Well, Plunkett taking 3, Wokes taking 3. Who bowled? The New Zealand bowled really well. You know, you can see Bolt and Henry really keeping a lid on England. Then Lockie Ferguson striking. Colin de Grandhomme, I still get nightmares about that chant. All the New Zealand fans singing that chant. He just trundled in at 74 miles an hour. Trundling in at 74 miles an hour, just bowling around outside 4th or 5th stump and luring Joe Root into a non-Joe Root shot.
Yeah, I mean, the pitch definitely suited him as sort of a slower bowler who nipped it around a bit, but nevertheless, just bowled so well. I think I've said it before. I think it's the second best economy ever in a World Cup final. Yeah, it was just unbelievable bit of bowling there.
Yeah, and the thing is people were like after the game, it wasn't a great pitch. It was a great pitch because it produced a great game of cricket. And I don't think you can't argue that it wasn't a good pitch because it's produced the best one-day game of all time. So I think the pitch played its part as well. You know, and every little moment had a role in the eventual outcome. Yeah, and it was a fantastic advert for cricket as a game as well.
Yeah, it really showed that cricket could be really good, even if people weren't just smacking sixes every ball. It really showed the sort of how tense the game could get and slightly more intricate side of the game. Maybe a bit unlike Stokes' other innings, where, of course, Headingley, a beautiful innings, but a bit more, a few more 6s and 4s.
Yeah, well, I can't remember how many 6s Josh Buttler hit, but I think he hit very few. I think Buttler was just Buttler and Stokes were when they had their partnership. They were just keeping the scoreboard ticking over, keeping England with a chance.
They just tried to take it as deep as they could, and then they did.
Yeah, and then Buttler played one shot in anger, or not in anger, mishit a big extra cover drive. You know, the shot that 9 times out of 10 you'd bank on him putting that for a 1 bounce 4 over the top of short extra cover.
Yeah, I know. When he was out, it looked like the game was gone, and I think that just showed how good a game it was. Just every moment, every wicket, you felt there was going to be a completely different outcome.
Yeah. So now, of course, it's time for cover drives of the week. So who are we choosing this week? 2 players that we've mentioned in these 10 games.
Well, I think we've already had a Kane Williamson cover drive. We've talked about him so much today. I think it'd be great to have him on.
Threads it through, and that is pure class from Kane Williamson.
And, we've already done Babar Azam.
What about Rohit Sharma? We mentioned Rohit Sharma in the first.
Yeah, definitely get Rohit Sharma in there.
Lovely shot. This is more actually a defensive shot from Rohit Sharma. He wasn't looking for a boundary here.
But I think we're going to round off episode 6 of the Fine Leg to Fine Leg podcast there. I hope you have enjoyed this episode discussing the World Cup, and we will see you on Sunday.